So here we go. My first YouTube video. I have zero script. I literally just pressed record on this here. Let me turn you around. I'm looking at a blank screen. There's nothing. There's not a teleprompter. I'm just venting right now. So let me just talk about myself for a bit. I am into fitness. That's my goal, to become a fitness influencer. Not really influencer, but content creator in fitness to help people out. I want to train people. I've got certified just recently this year. My goal is to train people locally because I've always felt like I'm more of an in-person person, you know, training face-to-face. But I've kind of learned to train people online too, and I've realized I have a passion for this too. So I'm trying to see where I could take this, where I could take online training. I'm not trying to sell myself here. I have 0 followers. So this is just me venting in case, you know, one day I do and they look back at this video. I'm gonna try my best to do this with no cuts and be as authentic as I can, but no promises. There's probably gonna be some awkward pausing here and there. So let's give it our best. So I'm in the trades. I'm a sheet metal worker. And if you don't know what that is, I'm pretty much installing a lot of HVAC equipment, but not actually servicing it. I often will do siding, roofing, many other things involving sheet metal. So my work can be very physically demanding. I find after work, I'm usually pretty sore, usually pretty tired. So the whole thought of starting to go to the gym was like a whole nother hill to climb. And I always talk to my coworkers about that because they're like, how do you balance like work, what we do for 8 to 10 hours a day, and go to the gym? Because I like physically after work, I cannot do that. I just want to chill on the couch. I completely understand them because at one point that was me too. I didn't start working out until after I was working. It actually was kind of the reason why I started working out. When I was working, I realized like I'm 120 pounds. This is hard. Like I'm lifting, I'm giving him my all to keep up with a lot of these like 30, 40-year-old men who have put on some size in their lifetime, and they can lift, they're still struggling to lift a lot of things at work, but they can lift it with relative ease. Whereas I was like 120 pounds when I first started working, and I was struggling. Like I was like, I knew I had to go in the trades because I was a hands-on person, but I had no idea that I was gonna struggle this hard with it. My back would be hurting by the end of the day, you know? Get home and I'm really sore. So that was kind of my intro to it, and I kind of realized like balancing working in the trades and going to the gym feels like an impossible feat. I did, I think, 3 days a week to start. I needed that like rest in between each workout. And well, at least I thought it did at the time. Now that just feels too easy. But anyways, I was so sore. The first month of working out, I was incredibly sore. DOMS, I was just feeling it every day. And I remember my coworkers noticing it, being like, how are you this sore? You're like 20 years old. I'm like 45. You need to grow up. So like I took that advice. I guess I started stretching and taking care of my actual muscle soreness afterwards, you know, maybe warming up a bit better, which is always important. Make sure you're doing your warm-ups and stretching after your workout. So about 2 years into my fitness journey, no, about a year and a half into my fitness journey, I came to the idea of hiring a coach. And that may have been my best decision I've ever made, honestly. I remember a year and a half in, I felt like I was seeing progress. I think by this point I was around like 138, 139. So I put on almost a good 20 pounds on my own, very dirty. I was having like olive oil mass gainer shakes. Like it was bad. I wouldn't want to do that again. But about a year and a half goes by, I hired this coach. This coach like lit a passion in me that I never knew I had. Like I thought I liked fitness, you know, whatever, I'm working out. He lit a passion in me that's like, this is what I'm meant to do. Like this is my purpose. I'm meant to do this. And I remember it went from almost dreading the gym to like, I can't wait to get off of work to go to the gym. Like that was my free time hobby, was just gym. And like people like look at you like you're corny, like how did this person loves pain, you know? But no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed because when I hired that coach, I I did a lot more harder things. I ate a lot more clean. I did a lot stricter of a diet. I trained like so much more intense. I realized I wasted a year and a half with my training because I was not training as intense as I should have been. But anyways, I did like a year and a half of weak training, and I finally hired a coach. He taught me how to properly train, and that was a big milestone for me because once I started properly training, my weight started going up every week. I started noticing I'm lifting more. The actual weight though took a little bit longer to go up. Like I'm a pretty hard gainer. Even my coach was like, this is unreal. I've never had a client eat this much food before. So I was eventually doing a dirty bulk just to gain weight, but like the first 10 pounds, I think I was able to do it clean on his diet. And after that, he was like, let's give you more mass gainer shakes. Let's give you more weight. So I think at peak bulk, I was eating roughly around 5,000 calories. And I think at the time I was around 170. It was a big bulk. Like it was over time. It was over like 2 years. So long bulk. I did a miniature cut in between like a year, but very long bulk nonetheless. But yeah, my weights, everything was going up. Everything was consistently progressing over and over and over. And that's when I realized like I was doing fitness wrong the first year and a half. I needed to hire a coach as soon as I got into fitness. And that's the thing I will preach to everyone. Hire a coach right away. 3 reasons. 1, well, you're probably gonna be doing it wrong. You're probably gonna be lifting wrong or eating wrong. So he'll correct you on anything. He'll correct you on your form, and accountability. I was never more strict on anything that I did until I had a coach. So anyways, side rant there, but that helped a ton. Then we get to about year 3, and my coach was like, hey, you have pretty good genetics. Your muscle insertions look pretty good. Have you ever thought about doing a show? I'm like, a show, like a bodybuilding show? No, I've never thought of it. And he was like, okay, we're signing you up for it. Like just told me we're doing a bodybuilding show. So I was like, all right, we're doing one, I guess. I just took his word for it. I'm not very hard to like convince. You know, someone tells me to do something, all right, let's do it. So he said we're doing a bodybuilding show, and I'm like, okay, that sounds like intense, but like not too bad. You just, you know, get really lean, go up on stage. Hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Hardest thing I've ever done. The amount of mental strength you need during prep is unreal. I feel bad. I started getting angry and hangry 24/7. My patience was getting tested all the time. I was lashing out on coworkers and people just making funny jokes and banter. You know how it is in blue collar. I was like lashing out. I couldn't take anything. I was so hangry, so miserable, but it puts you in a state of focus, like unreal focus. I remember being hungry all the time, but I remember it was like at work, I was just thinking about, okay, I gotta lift hard. I gotta lift heavy at the gym. I can't wait to go home and just kill it at the gym. That's all I can think about. Because anything surrounding you kind of takes up your mental space, if you think about it. Relationships, work, family, anything in general within your vicinity that's going on is gonna take up your mental space. And it kind of is like a distraction. You don't realize that until you're in prep, because mentally you're actually focused on just the gym. It's like a switch. And it kind of sucks because it takes away from everything. You start doing bad at work. You start relationships, you know, friendships start taking a hit because you're like, you don't even care about them anymore. It's like all you want to do is focus at the gym, lift those weights. So my show day was May 2023, I believe May 6th. Anyways, it was just my first ever show. I wasn't that big, but I put on some muscle, a significant amount of muscle from when I started it. So at the time I was about stage weight, I think I was about 145 pounds lean, compared to 120 skinny fat is what I was before I even started working out. So I put a good 20 pounds of lean muscle on, roughly, from when I started. So that was big for me. And I remember thinking of the show though, I remember thinking for how hard it was, for how much I pushed myself, I still remember thinking of the very few times I slipped up during that diet. And I was like, dang, I wonder how I would have looked if I didn't slip up those times. And that's why it's such a big mental battle. It is hard. It is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. I'm not even joking. Like, you talk to some people that do like other sports and then they do bodybuilding and do like a prep, and it's like, this is hard. Cause it's like a lot of other things are like a big, you practice, you have a big game. And it's like, that's the stressful moment. This is like a slow burn. Like you're just slowly burning away at your energy, at everything, your relationships. It affects everything, your mental. You're like slowly, it's like a slow burn, it's slow pain right up until show day. And then finally it's like that, you get that big show day, it's awesome. Even if you don't place well, it's like, you feel amazing afterwards. It's like, I did this. But yeah, it is very hard. A lot of people lose it halfway through. A lot of people quit halfway through a prep. It's not the easiest thing to do. It takes a lot of willpower. So show day comes, I placed first in novice and second overall. Not bad. I would have loved to get first on everything. I can't complain. And I did do third in men's physique. I wasn't really like choosing men's physique. I just decided to do it later on. But this was a natural show. Keep that in mind. I am natural. We aren't the big boys, you know? But it felt amazing. And looking back, I'm like, man, I was so new to lifting too. Like, imagine what I could do now years later, you know? Now that I put on even more size. But sometimes I get caught in the moment and realize I gotta remember how hard that was, because that was difficult. Am I really in the right space of life to do a bodybuilding show? Because that's important. You don't know how much it really takes. So make sure you're in the right space of life before you do that. So after the show, I actually kind of went on a bit of a hiatus. Like I kept training for months after the show. And then it was almost 2024 by this point. I went to trade school, which was a few hours away from where I actually live. And I kind of was like, I seen this Muay Thai gym and I was like I knew what Muay Thai was. I knew what like MMA was in general because I was a big fan of UFC. I was watching it like every Saturday night. So I was like, I've never tried like I never tried like a form of MMA. But the one that stuck out to me was Muay Thai. And like where I was from was this kind of smaller city, and they didn't have, I think they only had one like jiu-jitsu gym and one kickboxing gym. And kickboxing wasn't bad, but it was like a little bit run down. So I seen this like Muay Thai gym in a bigger city now. I'm kind of near Toronto. So I seen this Muay Thai gym. I'm like, let's try this out. So I tried it out. I fell in love with it. I was like, this is awesome. Now, keep in mind, I later changed my mind, but I fell in love with it. I was on like a high of just train. I did Muay Thai every night. So I gave my body no breaks. Did Muay Thai every night and boxing 4 times a week. So those two combined, I did every day for, it was about 3 months. And then I even traveled out to Thailand and trained Muay Thai for 2 weeks. And that was crazy. They got that Thailand heat and you'd be like, I swear I got like heat stroke one night because it was that hot. And you're training outside, there's no AC. Fell in love with it, but then I realized it wasn't for me. And not that I didn't like it, I just feel like I came in too late. I'm not like old or anything. I'm 23 at the time, 24. I felt pretty good, but I was going home in so much pain. I remember my calves, my ankles, because I wasn't taking the easy journey training. Like I wasn't trying to build my way up. I was trying to go as hard as I possibly can. Like let's spar, and I remember at certain points it was affecting my work. It was affecting my daily life because I was actually in pain and like felt like I had shin splints and hard to walk. I remember my ankle one day was like just swelled completely up, like bruised looking. And I kind of realized like as much as I liked it, having to take time off of it because I was in pain sucked even more. So I started shifting my mind to, okay, let's do something more consistent again. Let's get back into bodybuilding. So I ended up going back into bodybuilding and I found my passion for that again. Muay Thai was fun. Honestly, if anyone wants to do that, if anyone's like younger, and they're like, oh, I can deal with like soreness, or I don't have a job where soreness affects me, try like a mixed martial arts. I'm telling you, it's so much fun. And you meet some people, and it's more of a team sport. It's kind of fun that way. You meet people, they encourage you, and you keep going, and it's fun. A lot of fun, a lot of discipline. Try it out. But for me, it didn't really work out. And for my work, it was too physically demanding to do something like that as well. So I did bodybuilding again. And that was fun. And now we're getting into year 5, where I'm currently at. And I decided in January of 2026, I was like, let's do a personal training course. Because I've realized I've got like a ton of friends and coworkers who I train with. So I kind of done my own little research on stuff. And from years of working out, from years of training, from years of having a coach, I finally figured, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm ready to train some of these people. So I started training some coworkers and friends just to see, you know, where basic knowledge is at. Because sometimes when you're in something a field for years, you kind of forget where that baseline knowledge is at. You kind of like, oh, everyone else probably knows this. This is basic knowledge, right? But it really isn't. A lot of people just do not know how to get fit. And they don't know like where to start because there's so much information online. You go online right now, I can show you 200 videos directly contradicting each other, telling you there's one way to get fit and there's another way to get fit. They're both probably right though. They'll just like go against each other as if like that's wrong and this is right and that's wrong and this is right. But they're both probably right. The problem is there's just so much that a new beginner doesn't like, they see all that, they get like overstimulated. This is too much. Like they have to watch like 10 to 20 videos before they can step foot in the gym so they know what they're doing when they get into the gym. The key is though, that is not helping them because they end up watching those videos and it's like probably a week goes by from when they were originally motivated to go to the gym and now they're not going. They're not going because they spent too much time worrying about what they're going to do when they get there that they never even went in the first place. So that is why it's my passion to help people, because a lot of people are confused nowadays. They need that help. So that's why we're getting to my channel. That's a little background of at least the last 5-6 years of my life, where I started taking my life seriously at least. Before that, gamer, did nothing. I worked at my family's business, which was a grain mill. So, you know, a little bit of working out there when I was younger. I had a paper route. Like I was pretty lazy. I'd spent most of my time, if not hanging out with friends, if not in school, gaming. That's what I did all the time. I was a huge gamer. And this is my first video, and my goal is to one day, this be my first video that people look back on and be like, man, look at like how bad this looks. This is where he started. Look how he looks now, and this is where he started. It looks terrible. So yeah, that's my goal. That's my background. That's my story. And my goal, I want to help out people that are overly confused in the fitness industry. I want to help them get to where I got to. Because honestly, fitness has changed my life. And I know it can change yours too. Thank you.